Is it possible to recapture the magic of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise in entertainment today? Yes. And I think an examination of James Norrington, Commodore, Admiral, and one-time pirate will help make clear a key insight as to what that magic was. I think he's one of the exemplars of how these movies, the first 3 and maybe 4, subvert expectations or challenge traditional values in the right way, to a standard that I really want to see return to modern movies and TV and books and yada yada in the coming years. By looking at Norrington's character and his role specifically in the first one, Curse of the Black Pearl, we can figure out why these movies are so fun and successful, why so many movies are not anymore, and what could be done to recapture that magic. Curse of the Black Pearl is a near-perfect movie. Actually, it may just be a perfect movie. And this is in part because it came out in 2003. It's a movie of its time in the best way. This was a time of strength for action-adventure movies, and a number of these were these lavish period or fantasy movies. The technical abilities for scale and spectacle were advancing in a big way. People wanted huge, rich, compelling narratives. I'm showing you clips of Gladiator and Lord of the Rings and the prequels because I think they're all examples of franchises that rode this wave. Curse of the Black Pearl was lightning in a bottle. It was fun, it was big, it was heartfelt, and Jack Sparrow is one of the greatest cinema icons maybe of all time. James Norrington plays a large supporting role in this first Pirates movie. He, of course, is a rising star in the British Royal Navy, which, during the golden age of piracy, was the main power in the waters of the New World. Norrington is apparently renowned across the Caribbean for his successful crackdowns on piracy. He's ambitious and a little stuffy, but he's also genuinely moral and intelligent and brave. It helps that he's given a very appropriate but still great charisma by the very underrated Jack Davenport.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen.
So it would seem.
Just to recap, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, we get a bit of Norrington in the flashback that opens Curse of the Black Pearl as a lieutenant. When we fast forward to the present, he's on the cusp of promotion to Commodore. He's the embodiment of strict law and order, and therefore a foil to Will Turner, the blacksmith who is poorer, a little more morally flexible, but also in love with Elizabeth Swann, the governor's daughter. Norrington is an antagonist to Will and Jack in their efforts to rescue Elizabeth, but he is one of the good guys, especially by the time we get to the final battle. He and his men defeat Barbossa's crew. Norrington is revealed to be a stand-up guy by the very end, backing off from Elizabeth when he sees her heart lies elsewhere, and giving Jack a good-natured head start after his escape. As I said, Norrington embodies law and order. And this is where we see one of the narrative strengths of Curse of the Black Pearl. It thrives on tropes. It's a stock standard adventure movie. You have the coming-of-age young hero, the plucky heroine, who are star-crossed lovers, the fox trickster archetype of dubious trustworthiness and maybe a heart of gold. You have the rough villain with an evil laugh. You have Dumb and Dumber and Dumberer and Dumbest. Norrington is the standard of order. He's the lawman. And this idea is embodied in the British Empire. You have to compare this to the wildness of the pirates. The Empire is a lot less fun, but it's got some aura. It's a safe and civilizing force. Norrington is on the top of this system. He's a good man, though maybe only as good as the system allows him to be, which is pretty dang good. But in a situation where he should maybe color outside of the lines, no. Hence why Jack and Will and Elizabeth win in the end. The Curse of the Black Pearl is about taking those traditional expectations of goodness versus badness and flipping them around. Governor Swann sums them up very nicely here.
Perhaps on the rare occasion pursuing the right course demands an act of piracy. Piracy itself can be the right course.
Now, I want you to do a thought experiment. Close your eyes. Imagine if instead of 2003, Curse of the Black Pearl was made in 2022. What would Norrington and the British be like? I think the odds are non-zero that the story would be flipped completely. I think a 2022 writer's room would have made Norrington basically the main villain. Because no way a movie in 2022 would ever depict the British Empire as this safe, civilizing, baseline good guy. A movie made then would, believe me, 100% be about how the pirates are actually totally the good guy. They're a cool, diverse, supportive community. it would be how awful the British Empire is. I bet you anything that the pirates would be depicted as rebels against colonialist oppressors. This is because, as we know, a lot of movies from this period adopted a sort of underbaked, light left-wing critical theory thing, which has been slowly leaking out of academia for decades, but the match really lit in the mid-2010s. The powerful are always bad, the weak are always good, traditional values, laws, customs, they're all cynical tools used by oppressors to keep out the people they don't like. I am glad to reaffirm that Curse of the Black Pearl came out in 2003, and it has the wisdom to know that if you want to have the fun of subverting expectations, you actually have to have expectations. As we said, this movie takes classic adventure story tropes and then kind of flips them around a little bit. But it does so very carefully. It doesn't abandon them or try to get rid of them, but it has a lot of fun in making you question them. This movie is about piracy, and that's what makes it fun. But it knows that there's no fun if there's no tension. And the tension comes from, on the one hand, the romanticization of piracy, how exciting and liberating it is. It's self-determination, adventure, risk, and reward. Yet it never forgets the reality of pirates. Piracy is kind of evil and gross. These people are treacherous, greedy, cowardly, and they're just physically dirty. Protagonist and antagonist pirates both reflect this reality. So piracy is cool and it's attractive, but it's also bad and it sucks, and you cannot forget either of those things. On the other hand, law is good. Norrington is obviously the most noble guy around. He and the Royal Marines are also arrogant and stuffy, which lets them fall a step behind of the heroes and the bad guys. But they are, strictly speaking, good guys, because law and order are good things. We don't want to live like pirates or in a society affected by pirates, but like Will and Elizabeth, it would be cool to dabble. The subversion here is that this good thing, law and order, is not enough to do the good thing that needs to get done, and only people willing to step outside the system can do it. But like I keep saying, he's a good guy, but he's not the good guy for this story. He's the lawman. In another tale, from another perspective, he's the hero. He's basically a knight in shining armor, but he's in Robin Hood. This story only works because it knows this is an exception, not the rule. And this gets to a truth about life, I guess. We have rules, we have standards, expectations, customs, traditions for a reason. But sometimes, to do the right thing, we have to make exceptions. But these only work, in real life and in stories, if we know that they are exceptions. Those have to be decided case by case, and this case happens to make for a great pirate movie. The problem with so-called woke storytelling is that the desire isn't to examine exceptional cases, but to make exceptions into rules. This is why these have wreaked havoc on the bigger franchises and genres, because they're so rooted in tropes, and now they don't know what to do with them. But thank God these movies happened when they did. Every time I rewatch them, I appreciate how special they are, and more I notice Norrington and what the writers are using him for as a character. It's a tribute to great writing and a really great, fun performance. That's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love any of your thoughts and comments, suggestions, rebuttals down in the comments below, and while you're there, please like and subscribe. I have a bunch of other videos on this channel now where I just analyze things. So if you're into that, please check those out. I have some of them linked here. See you next time. God bless.